you have a ton of these core functions and also global variables, global user, global language. If you want to know something about the user who is logged in right now, you have to use this global user variable. Or if you want to know which language is currently active, you need this global language. Okay, but Drupal 8 these are gone pretty much. And instead we have now these things called services. And Drupal 8 has a lot of components from Symfony 2 framework, which is another PHP framework. So you have this is one of the concepts that came to Drupal 8 from Symfony. Services are there's two examples here. Like for example, accessing the database, you might want to use a service to do that, or to send an email. And the idea of the services is to decouple reusable functionality, so that one functionality is in like a nice little class of its own. And cool.
Hey, how you doing? Hello.
We started talking a little bit. This is a presentation about Drupal 8 services and dependency injection. Right. And one of the new things about these services is that in Drupal 7 you have these global functions, and there's like no way you can, if you don't want to use the default format date function, there's like pretty much no way you can replace this function with your own function that does things differently. But with these services, you are able to do it. So you can just replace one service with your own service.
Would you just extend the class or replace the class?
You pretty much replace it.
Okay.
I guess you replace it with something that extends the original.
Okay.
And these services, they depend on each other. And here's one example. So we have this service called Country Manager. This is the definition. This is the class that has the code. And it depends on this other service called module handler. So I'm going to take a look at this Country Manager class. So this is kind of like a simple small service, Country Manager. And what this does, it gives you like a list of countries with their like country codes and stuff. And here, when it gives this list, other modules are allowed to alter the list. So you have this piece of code here. So this service, Country Manager, it needs the module handler to help allowing other modules to alter the list. So this is the reason why it depends on module handler, because module handler is like responsible for allowing other modules to do stuff. In this case, other modules are allowed to alter the list. Okay. So that was this is the Drupal 8 service in a nutshell. A couple of real life examples. So in Drupal 7, you want to know something about the current user. You get the user by just typing global user. Now you have the details of that user in this variable. In Drupal 8, you don't have this global user anymore. So this is not, you can't do this. Instead, you use the service current user. You use this service and then use this method get account. And now you have the pretty much exactly the same info as you would have in Drupal 7. So this is the what did I do? Okay. I brought the presentation. Okay, that's good time.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello. Oh, South Fridays.
Back in plane.
No worries. How are you?
Good. Got a bit a cold since last week.
Oh.
Drink too much.
So this is Ake. He works for Wasan.com. Do you know anyone here apart from me and Bob and June?
Just a few of you.
Okay.
I'm Hannah. I work for a Drupal development shop in Washington, D.C., but I live here. So, you're my Drupal group.
Nice. It's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Hi, Juho. I'm from Finland. I'm doing a presentation about Drupal 8, these services
And he's joining Fluxus very soon.
studies. Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah. And then we got, I don't know what you do.
Alright.
Cool.
So, I was left here. Yeah. I'm comparing Drupal 8 and Drupal 7. So in Drupal 7, if you want to know something about the current user, you would just load the variable. It's already there in this global variable user. In Drupal 8, you have to do it. This is an example like this. Load the service, current user, and then use this method get account. So the key thing is here is the service. You have to use the current user service to know something about the user. Another example, if you want to format some dates. In Drupal 7, this is like the Drupal's way to format dates. If you want to write a date in a specific format in your custom module, you write format date, give it a date stamp, and then tell what kind of date do you want, what kind of string do you want. In Drupal 8, you don't really have this anymore. Instead, you have to use the service date.format. Other than that, it's the same. You have the same parameters and stuff. But the key point is here is that you need to use these services instead of the global functions in Drupal 8. Okay. So that was about services. Now about the dependency injection. What is that? So dependency injection is an alternative to the static Drupal service. So now that I just showed you how to use these things, these services, now I'm telling you to forget about it and not do it like this. So this is not like the preferred way to do it. So dependency injection that's the preferred method for accessing and using services. And it should be used whenever it's possible to use it. And the way you use dependency injection, I have an example in a second. but shortly, you don't call out the global services container. It's this one. You don't use this. Services are instead passed as an argument to a constructor. So I will show an example about that. So code samples. I have a custom module called Bangkok Meetup. And this is really just an example module, not really like a real world example or anything, just some code samples. And it shows the date of the next meetup. And I have 3 versions, Drupal 7, then I have Drupal 8 with the static service calls, the incorrect way to do it, and Drupal 8 with the dependency injection. So let's look at the code. Drupal 7 first. Okay, so this is a very short module. We have just a page, Bangkok Meetup, and it gets the last Thursday of this month, or it gets the last Thursday, and then this is assuming that the meetups are on the last Thursday of the month.
Assuming that they're cancelled.
Yeah, well, it's not that advanced. But, yeah. Okay. So it gets the timestamp, or counts when is the next meetup and gets the timestamp. And then we make that timestamp, we use the format date, since we are in Drupal 7 now, and we have a date string. And then we print next meetup date. So I'm going to show the page. So there it is. We are now in July, and the next meetup, last Thursday of this month, is 28th. So this is what the code does in Drupal 7. And the key part here is the format date. Okay. So in Drupal 8, I'm going to show the incorrect usage first. So this is the pretty much same code. We have this method, get next meetup date, same thing, last Thursday of this month, and I'm using PHP Storm, and it helps me, it tells me, you can see this is like a what's that, strike through. So PHP Storm tells me I shouldn't be using this function. It works, I can show you. It works, but you are not supposed to use it. So here, this is the page of this next meetup, 28th of this month. This is the one. So if you go look at this format date function, this is Drupal 8 now, deprecated in Drupal 8 will be removed before Drupal 9. So whenever something is deprecated, you are not supposed to use it. And here, this piece of code also gives you example. Use Drupal service, date formatter, format. I should do it like this instead. Okay, so I have it here already. Right, so this is we got rid of the deprecated code. And it still works, as you can see. Okay, so this was the easy way to use services. Just use the Drupal and then load the service that you want, and then in this case format a date string. but this is not dependency injection. This is not the correct way to do it. So here I have the same thing using dependency injection. And the actual new lines are here. These three, or not lines, but three components here. So what happens is we have this function create, which will get the date formatter from the service container. Oh. And it will pass this as an argument to the constructor, and the constructor puts the date formatter that it got as an argument, it puts it into this protected variable. So this is like the this is the dependency injection.
Do a bit. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Down here, instead of yeah.
Oops.
I think I probably has that.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 more bags of other bits of food as well. So much sauce. No. This must be chicken wings. Do you eat chicken?
What is this?
I think it's blue sauce for the buffalo chicken.
Ooh.
Cool.
Help yourselves.
Yeah, dive in.
Picture.
Yeah. First.
Cute.
Everyone, just help yourself. Make a mess. I think these are for, dipping is for the chicken on
Yeah, that's going to be pretty important here. Oh, they made this childproof.
I think we might have to take a photo of this food and post it on the internet so next time we have more people shopping.
Yeah. Good idea. Are you struggling?
I don't know if it's shared here, or?
I think it goes together with this one.
This doesn't look like it's supposed to be hard to.
I'm gonna continue.
We're gonna do it like in a second. Sorry. Let's see. Oh, go back to that. Oh yeah. Okay. So. Thank you.
It was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
It's what?
A lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
I don't know what gave you the impression it was hard to open.
We should just hide our food and pretend like we're done when Bob comes back.
Sorry, you go, carry on.
I'll try. Okay. Food and one. Okay. Okay. So now, comparing the incorrect way and the correct way. This is the old or the first incorrect way of doing it. Drupal service date formatter. This was the static service call thing. And the dependency injection, we have just this date formatter. So we have it available here because we did this thing. We used the create method and construct. So we ended up having date formatter in this static barrel. Take a look at mine. Yeah, so that's dependency injection code example. And now you might think, why would you do it like this? Why is this the
That's exactly what we're thinking.
the method? Why do it like so?
Can you read mine? You're good.
Yeah. Next slide. The benefits.
Tell us.
Yeah. Finally. One thing is that more parts of Drupal can be swapped out without hacking the core. And this might be, there's many places where this could be a good thing, but especially Drupal distributions or hosting providers, they might want to do something like this. Now they are able to do it like properly.
Oh, you mean so like when you have shared hosting or something, they don't want to do certain stuff?
And also, the dependencies of code are better documented. So you actually have, instead of having in the code, let's look at the old one, the incorrect one. You have just these random occurrences of like, well, here we need date formatter, and in the next 10 lines you need another service, and then you happen to need a third service. Instead of just having them inside the code somewhere unorganized, when you use dependency injection, you actually have them nicely. Like you can see them in the constructor. You can see them nicely and organized. Here, I can see that this controller 2, this is my custom controller. This controller or this class, it needs the date formatter. You can see it here. Instead of having it like in a random place inside the code. And then the third one, possibly the most important one, you can write better unit tests, faster and better and easier unit tests for your code when you are using dependency injection. So this is a quote I noticed. Some guy called Miles wrote it like this: if you are implementing your own form class or content controller, learn how to do dependency injection and remove your dependency on Drupal. Unit testers everywhere will can. So this unit testing is like,
What if you don't write unit tests?
yeah, that's a good point. So if you're sure you're not going to bother with unit tests, you can pretty much, I think, the most of the benefits are gone. So you probably wouldn't want to bother with dependency injection either.
Dog Gareth.
But of course, everyone wants to do unit tests. Because
No, I don't.
okay, but for example, if you want to contribute something to the Drupal core or contrib module, someone's going to tell you, you need to write tests for this stuff, and then you do unit tests.
Yes.
So if you want to contribute, that would be a one case to write unit tests and stuff. Now I can get. I have one more example about unit tests.
Do you write unit tests? Do it.
We try to, yeah, but not enough. Okay, so we had these two examples. Controller 1, that's the incorrect example, the one that you're not supposed to do. And control 2, that's the correct one, dependency injection. So I have written tests for these both. It's gonna take like 30 seconds, so I'm gonna leave this for now. Take a quick look at the tests. Controller 1. In this test, we just create instance of our controller, and then we give the function that gets the next meetup date, we give it this date, we give it June 1st. And then we expect that the code will give us June 30th. Let's see if the code run. Yes. Okay, so controller 1 test. It tells us container not initialized exception. Drupal container is not initialized yet. So basically it's telling us I can't do this in unit tests. Because we are only testing this class controller 1. We don't want to, we can't be testing two classes at once.
Okay.
So can't do this. Okay, but the other test, controller 2 test, that passed. I'm going to show the other test. So this part that does the test, it's exactly the same. We get a date, June 1st, and we give controller 2 the function or the method that counts the meetup date. We give it the date, and we check that we get June 30. And the difference in this test is that we can't have the real date formatter. We can't use the real one because we are supposed to test only this functionalities of this code, this class that we are testing. So what we will do, we get a mock object, mock date formatter, and at this point it does nothing. It does absolutely nothing. So we must tell the mock object that when someone uses the format method, and when it's given this timestamp and these parameters, it will return this value here. So right now this date formatter only reacts to this one specific scenario and gives this result. And then when we have this fake date formatter finished, now it actually does something. We give this date formatter, we create the controller, and we give the fake formatter as a parameter. And now we have the controller that can be unit tested. Here, this line here, new controller 2, and we give this fake date formatter. When I call this, it will go here. Right. It will construct our controller class using this fake formatter. It's here in the parameter line. And when the real Drupal, when I actually view the page, we get the real date formatter from this piece of code. But in unit tests, we don't go to this one at all. Here's the pages. The normal version, next Meetup date is here. Dependency injection here. Same results, but unit tests. Where is it? Here. Unit tests are only possible with the other one.
This is why you shouldn't write unit tests. You should write BDD tests.
BDD. System-driven development.
Business.
Behavior. Oh, business.
No, behavior-driven development.
Right, yeah, so this was the practice run of my presentation.
I like it.
Thank you, and if you have questions, we have plenty of food and time to go through them.
Any questions, Bob? Bob's been quiet all day. In the meeting this morning, there was a lady he liked.
Oh, is that what you're still thinking about?
Big
It's
hairy.
just his type.
Yeah.
ไทยผมไม่บอกพี่ใช่ไหมเมื่อเช้าเนี่ยผู้หญิงที่พี่คุยด้วย
ไม่ต้องเรียน
อย่าพูดผู้หญิงก็ได้คนนั้นสไตล์ไทยพี่เลย
I think the problem with unit testing is the code works well, but it doesn't work that well. It doesn't necessarily work.
เนี่ยผมอยู่ที่
So, for example, you might have some code that makes a unit test that makes sure there is a legal footer that that produces a legal footer on every page or something. But there might be some CSS that breaks and makes you can't click on it. So that's why BDD tests are valid. It goes in as like a browser and tries to click on it and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think best situation if you have both.
Right.
And you spend
something.
twice as much time writing tests as
Can
you
go
do
wrong.
writing code.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, not for the same thing.
The fast ones?
No.
But at first I thought you were gonna say like you have to write a lot of tests to have them like really make sure that things work. So if you only like test a few things, you don't write like comprehensive tests, then the stuff that you didn't write test for might break. If you're not just thinking about it.
That's why I quite like BDD tests, because you only test stuff that's important to the business. You only test stuff that's important to the business.
You mean like with Meetup, right? For example, yeah, we have those on our Drupal 7 site. A lot of pen tests.
Oh yeah.
รีวิวโค้ดแล้วก็ให้ทีมมันที่แบบถึงน้อยๆให้รีวิวโค้ดแล้วก็ไปให้อัตโนมัติใช้ครับทีม
called JavaScript tests.
ถ้าเรา
I'm not sure
เป็น
how
เรื่องให้เราตรง
wide you
เรา
can take
สร้างยูเซอร์เราใช่ไหม
How do you test the JavaScript? Surely that's just unit tests as well. Have you ever used like Wraith or any image comparing?
จำไม่ได้
What was the term? I don't think I've heard it.
เพิ่งจะโค้ดตัวหมดไปยังไม่รู้ไม่กินเลย
So
มันจำไม่ได้
it's all very well testing the BDD stuff and testing the code itself. But then there's a thing called Wraith, which is the BBC Wraith. When it's done with the test, it takes 2 screenshots and compares them, so you can see whether CSS is massively been bugged somewhere.
ไปซอฟต์แวร์ด้วย